7 out of 10 older Australians believe ageism is against older people is a serious problem. That's according to Every Age Counts. Today is Ageism Awareness Day, and it's aimed to remind us all of the damaging effects directed at older Australians. Well, joining me now is Every Age Counts spokesperson, Robert Tickner. Robert, good morning to you and thanks for joining us. So, Ageism Awareness Day, tell us about it.
Well, it's a day that our campaign, Every Age Counts, a national campaign around ageism, has created in order to lift the public conversation around these issues. The reality is that there is a significant problem with ageism in Australia, and that's not just some trendy word. It's very real, as I'll explain. But it's all about the stereotyping of older people, discrimination against them, and their mistreatment. And there's a lot of evidence of all of those things happening, including the fact that in the area of employment, significant reports from the Human Rights Commission and the Australian Institute of Human Resources has shown that when people reach the age of 50, believe it or not, they reach a point where ageism is a real issue, with something like 20% of employers refusing to employ people over 50 or doing their best not to. That's a significant number of employers, and it's backed up by the number of complaints that we receive in the Every Age Counts campaign. That's a terrible waste of people in the prime of their lives. And I guess we want to use our campaign to change what's in the hearts and minds of people when they think of older Australians. You know, they're people too, we're people too. It's about empowering people as they continue to age, as we all will, and making sure that people get the opportunity to fully participate in the community around them. And surely that's what all of us would want.
Yeah, you would hope so, wouldn't you? And the accountability, what is happening there with the workforce?
Well, the point is, of course, that in Australia, age discrimination is illegal under the laws passed unanimously, I think, by every state and territory parliament and by the national one. But the problem is that we also need to change what's in people's hearts and minds, and to educate people that these ridiculous stereotypes about older Australians are simply not true. And that's why we've called for this ongoing public awareness campaign. I think when it comes to employment, we also have to ensure that the human resource departments of our big corporations and government departments and other organisations really understand that an organisation is at its best when it has a diverse workforce that includes a whole mix of ages and demographics. And I think a lot of companies are also getting the message that there's a pretty big consumer voice out there and some economic and market power in the hands of older Australians. And they want to see a real engagement with them as people. And too often we do find a lot of retailers in the shop front, if you like, where older Australians, and particularly women, feel almost invisible and often talked down to. And we hear a lot of anecdotal evidence of those things. But it really comes down to changing the way we think of Australians growing older, and realising that given the increased lifespan we're all going to have, by and large, or the opportunity for it, we really need to maximise the extent to which people have real choices and a capacity to fully engage in the community as they grow older. And that's what our campaign is seeking to achieve.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, but, growing up, we heard the term respect your elders. Why are we seeing so much ageism? And you mentioned a few points there, but what do you think the root cause is? And do you think, are we learning and educating ourselves at a younger age? What's happening here?
Look, I think there is still a lot of stereotypes promoted in various parts of the media. And the way I look at it is that older Australians are like any other group of Australians. They are not a homogenous group of people. You know, there's rich, there's poor, there's some are well, some are not well, some have disabilities, some don't. But the point is that, you know, the way that the ageism thinking of too many Australians works is that there are these negative attributes that we associate with growing old, this assumption that a very large percentage of the population will have dementia. Not true. You know, an assumption that older people can't cope with new technology. The evidence is that's not true. Some might have challenges, but many do not. So it's essentially about recognising the individual and looking at the capacity of the individual, if it comes to employment, to do the job. But we think that there's a real need for getting the conversation going around this issue. It's not a trendy issue because these negative impacts on people have been shown to have significant issues, causing people to lose confidence, to lose their capacity, and really to make people extremely unhappy. There's a lot of people out there who just want to be thought of as John or Mary or whatever their role is in their local community, and not have the adjective, old, or the descriptor old applied to them when they're thought of and engaged with. They want to be just treated as people. Fair enough.
Yep, well said. We do have to wrap it up, but Robert Tickner, thanks very much. And for more information, people can head to your website. Ageism Awareness Day is today, and we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's Every Age Counts.
Every Age Counts. You can look it up on the website.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert.